Yo, what is going on, guys? Rovlogs here, bringing you guys another episode of Shooting with Rovlogs. Today, I'm bringing you guys part 2 of episode 5, where I'll give you guys the inside scoop of my editing process. But before I get into that, let's cue that intro. So I really want to show you guys behind the scenes of my editing process. It's one thing actually knowing how to take a photo, and it's another thing actually knowing how to edit it. It can make or break your photo. So I think it's one of the most crucial things in being a photographer. I'm going to show you guys my personal way of how I edit, step-by-step process in my Lightroom, so you guys know exactly how I do it and how to get it ready for export. So are you guys ready? Let's jump right in. Alright guys, so here we are on our desktop and we're just going to get started. So I'm going to open up Lightroom here. And I already have a catalog open, but we're going to go ahead and import these photos into this catalog here. So these are the 3 photos I'm actually going to be showing you guys. So this one's a sunset shoot, and we have like an indoor studio shoot with Aaron, and then we also have this shoot with Lindsay where it's outside and we got different lighting going on. So the first thing I always want to do with my photos is apply my preset. So I actually have my own presets here that I created, and it's called One Reel, and this is the base coat that I put on all my photos. So I'm going to actually put them on all of them real quick. So you see they all look differently from the same preset, but it's all because of different lightings and the sceneries and stuff like that. Go ahead and start with this one, and really I'm going to just go down the line and edit it. So I think the first thing I do is go ahead and change the angling, make sure it's straight, and then usually I'll put it like 4x5 because that's what Instagram likes, and Instagram won't crop it and like make it lose quality. So I think what I'll go ahead and do is do section by section and explain after, because if I'm like going down the line and trying to explain it, I think it's just going to take too long. So I adjusted the temperature and the tint. I think this is where I want them, because I don't like them too magenta, but I also don't want them too green. Just go wherever you feel most comfortable with it. This is kind of like where I like it. Maybe I'll like boost up the oranges a tiny bit, but not too much. You see, like I feel like this is too much already. The blue, like the water is like starting to get orange, and I don't really want that. I want to really be separated. So there we go. There's that. And then we're gonna go into these tones and then the presence. So very minor changes I did there, but I think there'll be like exposure is like one big thing that I like to do. And then I go down the line here and I see like the lights. I always like to turn these down, and then the highlights as well, so it's not too blown out. And well, this shot, I actually had a hard time because the highlights are so like bright here. There's really nothing I can really do, but I mean, look at where it's come from and already where we're at. So now I notice that I feel like it's a little bit too green still. So now I'll actually go back and put some more magenta in it. And then I always go like back and forth to see like the before and afters, and I kind of gauge it that way. Now I feel like I need a little bit more exposure, not too much. What usually happens, I usually experiment with different things, how I like it and see how it looks, because really every photo is an experiment. You always have to engage it and move it in different directions with other photos, because they're all different sceneries and they're all in different scenarios. So usually they're like you have to like play with it a little bit. Like sometimes I'll just go like this to kind of see where I want it, and then find that sweet spot for it. And then I go ahead and go to my split tonings here. I usually do add some split toning into the photo just because it kind of separates some of the colors a little bit. So if you can see here, so like the highlights, I'll actually put some color into the highlights, and sometimes I like to use that to my advantage like that. So you see I like took out some of the oranges from the ocean. So like that, I think that's pretty good. I think I think the blues are a little bit too dark, so what I'll do is do this. Now I feel like it's too red, and so what I'll go ahead and do is do this. It's like, these are like very subtle things that I like somehow notice, but if you like do like a close-up, you can see like different, like, in like this area right here. So it puts more color in there, and what I might actually probably have to do is do some saturation, just so it fills up those little gaps that are like kind of grayed out. So I think this is as best as we're gonna get it as of right now. This is like kind of like a fast forwarded version of my edit. So I pulled the actual photos that I exported from the shoot, and so if I look here, so actually what I did, I turned down the blues if you look there. That's literally how I edit it. There's nothing crazy that I do that's different than any other person, but I think it definitely, you have to have an eye for the colors. Alright, so there's that photo. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next photo now, which is the indoor studio one with Aaron. So remember, I always put that preset on first. And then another thing I do is make sure it's straight, so it's not like crooked or anything. We don't want crooked photos. Put it at 4x5, so it's ready for Instagram. And then usually what I'll do, actually here's a quick tip, I'll line up that top line with like in between the eyes usually. So kind of like that. I think that's pretty good. I still feel like there's a lot of room on the right side, but I like kind of like the depth that it goes into the back, and so I think I might just leave it like that. I think that's how my actual first edit was when I originally edited these photos, but we'll look at that photo at the very end. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go down the line again and just do the exact same thing what I did with the other photo. So I'll go ahead and start with my temperature and my tints. So yeah, like I said, I usually like play with it back and forth. Like sometimes I'll just go all the way to the extreme and then just slowly bring it back to kind of see where I want it at. So like I think that's pretty good right there. We'll go more down the line here and show you guys the rest of the stuff that I'll probably do. Again, the highlights are like blown out in the back, so you don't get too much of the sky there, but we'll sharpen it up a little bit just so it make sure it's tack sharp. I always make sure these two are clipped because that's like some like lens correction stuff, and then sometimes I like to take off the vignetting because I don't think it looks good. One thing I actually like sometimes doing is bringing out some color in the eyes. Here, I'll actually go to the brush tool. So we go to brush, we go to effect, and we go to iris enhancing. So I'll make it smaller here, and then just give it a little tad here. Usually that'll like pop the eyes out a little bit more and give it a little bit more color. Another thing sometimes I do is I sometimes soften the skin a little bit, just so it gives it more of like a subtle touch. The settings that it usually has is like, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too much, so I go ahead and lower that down. We go ahead and zoom in here, and just apply a layer over the skin a little bit. I think we're pretty much done with this photo. I think being a 30-minute edit, pretty freaking darn good. So we're gonna go now. We're gonna go and get the actual edit I did at the first time I went around when I edited these photos, and then this edit. Okay, so here we go. That's definitely more of an hour edit, but we're gonna go in and match it now so you guys can see how I actually got it to be where this other photo is. So already you can see that it's a little bit more magenta and it's less orange. So like that. And then what I actually did, it looks like I brought up the oranges. Oh, and it looks like I actually had the plan out a little bit more in this photo than in this photo. I think there's still a little bit more things that I do. Alright guys, so there's that edit there. I'm gonna go ahead and go into our last photo here. So here we are. I mean, the photo doesn't look too great at the moment. The colors are very dark. Everything looks very dark. So we're gonna go ahead and just go down the line again. And then we're gonna go into the crop and straighten, make sure it's straight there. I think the left side has a little bit more space than the right side, so what I'll go ahead and do is just move this guy a little bit to the right like that. There's that, and I think that looks pretty like straight on. And then what I'll go ahead and do, here's actually a specialty that I haven't done in the other photos, but what I go ahead and use is this guy. It's a spot removal tool. So it's a brush, and then I go heal, and then really what I do is make it a little bit bigger. And you see those little like spots on the wall? It's just like the concrete, but sometimes I like to clean it up like that. And it does a pretty good job cleaning it up. I mean, if you look at the wall, if you look at that wall there, look at the difference. So look at all those little holes and then just cleaning it up. So it just gives it a lot more cleaner. So I can see some more over here, and you could go in there and clean it up as well. So there's that. And then we'll go ahead and go down the line here. Maybe move the skin tone a little bit. I feel like her skin's a little bit too red. And then just put up the saturation, the luminance. And then maybe move the highlights a little bit on the split toning. I think the last thing I'll do is just move the blues, because you can see kind of that sky up there, like on top of the staircases. But I think I'll probably leave it like that so it's more natural. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like, there's nothing really special that I do in my photos. I just take a lot of time and make sure I like pay attention to the details and all that stuff. As far as like the composition of this photo, I really like this photo just because of the staircase going down to her and then the lines leading down. And just, when we shot this, it was literally the last photo that we ever took, that we took at this shoot. It was funny because I was already putting my camera in my bag. I was like, all right, I'm done shooting. I'm done for the day. And we just said, fuck it. And then we shot, and came out to be one of the best photos that I took at this place. So there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the other photo that I took originally and edited. So it looks like it's a little bit more magenta on the one I first edited. So really all we'll do, I mean, either way, both photos look good. I don't know if you guys can even tell the difference. This one looks a little bit more green, while this one looks a little bit more purple or magenta, but really all you have to do is boom, this guy. So there you have it, guys. That's literally my editing process from start to finish when I'm editing a photo. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how they look from before and after. Alright guys, thank you guys for making it this far in the video. I want to share with you guys a super secret thing that I wanted to start, but I think I just wasn't ready for it, and I think now is the time. But I'm going to give you guys a 50% discount on the preset that I use in this video. So how to find the preset, you'll go to the link in my profile that goes to my website. The code that you'll use at checkout is REAL50. This is the main one I've used throughout my entire career, so I want to share it with you guys. And also share it with me. I want to see the photos that you guys create with the preset. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, keep it real, 100, never stop grinding, and peace.